This shit feel like ain't seven. Put lines on through my ashes. Wake up in the morning, count my blessings. Feel like heaven. This shit feel like ain't seven.
Welcome to the Money Down, the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel, #1 sports book. Back again with another live episode on a Thursday. We got Thursday night football going on. Pretty good battle between the Broncos and Raiders, 7-7. Trying to tell them Raiders gonna come to play, man. You know, division game, short week. You can't game plan the same when you got a game on Sunday. It's a little bit hard to get a dub in division, but we'll see how this one ends out. But I want to start this thing off, man. We obviously had some unfortunate news, today in the NFL. We had Marshawn Nealon of the Dallas Cowboys ended up, taking his own life through suicide. And obviously it's a tough topic, tough subject, mixing between two words there, especially, throughout the NFL, like mental health. I mean, it's a big crisis throughout America. It's not even just through the NFL, but as football players, I know we're taught to be tough. As men, we're taught to be tough. We're taught to, kind of sweep things under the rug and move past and not really talk about, our emotions and things of that nature. And I think we have to find like some balance, with that as human beings. Like, yes, of course, we can't, complain about every single thing and, do that type of stuff. But at some point, the weight gets a little too heavy, and whether it's talking to a therapist or whether it's talking to somebody, your family, friends, whatever it may be, whatever if you feel like gets you, that kind of release or takes that stress off your back. I think everybody's going to have their own way of doing it. I think you just got to find the best way that's going to help you, because it's a real thing, man. I know each and every one of us, I'm sure anybody who's watching this right now, have gone through some rough stretches, in their life. And maybe you found your way out of it on your own. Maybe you did something, else, sought therapy or something like that to help you get out of it. But it's a real thing. Let's talk to our people. Let's check on our friends. Let's just talk about our emotions, whenever you see fit, because I think it's extremely necessary, man. Because at some point, it always feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And, when it gets too heavy, some people, decide to go down that dark path. And it's very unfortunate. And I'm, definitely praying for, his girlfriend who had to receive that, that text message from him. That's hard to deal with when somebody that you love or that you like sends you that type of message and you don't really know how to react. You call the police. His family, man, it's tough, getting over a loss like that and losing a son, a friend, a brother, and all that. So I'll kind of let you guys weigh in on the situation.
Yeah, I just think it's real sad, bro, and we're starting to see it a lot take place. I think this might be the third one this year. I know I want to say Kyron earlier. Now this situation, I want to say it was one more, but I just think it's extremely important, especially for us athletes and us football players, because we have been programmed a certain way our whole life to kind of be this macho man and be able to hold things in internally. And it's really important. And now more than ever, right? Like, it's important to find an outlet or somebody that you could just talk to. I know, like, for myself, y'all boys, right, doing this podcast, playing Xbox with y'all till 3 a.m, whatever the case may be, like, that's my outlet for whatever's going on in my life personally that I might not want to share the details with anybody. So extremely sad case. Like you said, you just gotta you pray and you feel for his girlfriend, his family, because, right, we're talking about somebody who just scored a touchdown on Monday. Right, Monday night primetime game. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Everybody's watching, and then here it is, 3-4 days later. We getting reports, and I think so much of it just because people may have money and they may have status and they may have fame that you kind of always feel like nothing could be going on in their life to where they could feel like it was so much on them that they had to do this. And I always say, right, like, you never know what somebody's has going on or what they are battling internally. So I think it's really important for us. I know I said it now more than ever, to be kind to each other and be considerate of other people, their feelings, because it's a lot going on right now. And I again, never want to see nobody do that, which is take their life away. So I just think we just got to be there for our friends, our family, whoever it is that's important to us. We got to talk to them and again be there for them as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, there's so much vitriol out there because of social media in a lot of ways. I don't think that that's necessarily the case here, but we know that has led to a lot of people, going down that path. And it's, be kind to your people. But, I try to be kind on social media as much as possible, as much as I want to be negative about some stuff sometimes, and lash out about that. Like, there are people on the other
That's true.
Especially if you're a pro athlete. Like, I can't imagine opening, checking your mentions and, after, especially had a tough game, people calling out your family, people calling out you, calling you all sorts of words that are not fair to repeat on this podcast or any platform, quite frankly. And so, it takes all of us, it takes building a culture of understanding and being where people can be vulnerable without repercussions. I think that is extremely hard in 2025 because there are trolls and Twitter fingers everywhere.
Yeah.
That is, I think that leads into a lot of it. And I think that, we know how much stress and pressure these guys are under every single day. And, I just, I can't fathom that, from me personally, right? I produce podcasts, man. Like I'm not a pro football player. I'm not a college football player. And so I think a lot of people think that, because, they make, pro athletes make a lot of money, you can say whatever to them. And at the end of the day, like everyone's still human and, and you don't know what's going on with them. So, obviously like all of our thoughts are with him, his girlfriend, his family. And it's just, it's always tough to wake up and see that news, especially a man who is so young, second year in the league, like had so much ahead of him. And, whatever it was, whatever those demons were that were haunting him and, made him go in that direction, man, it's, no one deserves that. Like no one deserves that.
Not at all, man. And like some of the happiest people, man, be dealing with the tough stuff. And even as the people you think laughing and joking all the time, sometimes that's just a mask of all the things that they're going on, in their life. So like I said, whether somebody's happy, whether they're sad, just checking in people once a week, every other week, something, check on how you doing. They may not, say exactly what's wrong, but maybe that little text message may give them a little bit of relief, a little bit of hope. You never really know. But, everybody, man, let's live on each other. Let's, obviously I know social media, people think you can say whatever, you're just joking and da-da-da-da-da, but nobody knows how they're going to, and somebody's going to interpret those messages, that you're sending them. So let's just be mindful of what we're doing in this world because, like I said, never know what somebody is dealing with, man.
Yeah, and rather just, like both of you said, like talk to your people. It's better to talk to them now than speak at their funeral.
Yeah,
like,
100%, man.
100%. So
100%, man. We had some other NFL news. A former NFL player, Antonio Brown, was arrested for attempted murder. Now, at first, when I first saw it, I thought it was something new, but it was for that shooting. I'm pretty sure that happened at
earlier this year.
Yeah, at like a concert or something. He kind of went off to Dubai. Kind of ever since that whole thing, kind of went off to kind of like lay low. But clearly, they went out there and got him, and he's being arrested. It's just crazy. He was my teammate for a week or so in New England. Very talented dude, man. Like works hard on the game of football, but clearly, when football's kind of been done, he's kind of went a little bit left. But it's just kind of a little bit different but similar type situation, man. Never know kind of what's going on in that dude's head. When the game of football is done, for us, like we all kind of, whether it's football or any sport, it's kind of hard to find your footing a little bit and kind of find that grounding of what to do next. I know he's doing the rapping thing and all that, but it just seems like he has a lot of stuff going on, within himself. I know he's has his little social media page making fun of people and all that stuff, which probably ain't even really him for real. Probably somebody else doing it.
No, it's come out that it's not him.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. But But yeah, man, I send a prayer for him too, man. Just like hopefully he can find his way out of this thing because there's so many people that looked up to, probably still look up to Antonio Brown. You know, so that's your favorite receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to be at this point, you know, kind of right now to where, you know, going kind of down the wrong path, you hope that somebody can get to him at some point to get him out of it because there's so much positivity he could be doing other than what's going on right now. So like I said, I don't know what he's going through. Like, I don't know all the details of the whole situation. I know he kind of got to like a fight or something that led to that whole thing, but I hope for the better for him because I think he's genuinely a good dude. Like, I know he likes the attention and everything like that, but I think he's genuinely a good dude. Just a little lost, a little distracted at this current time. So I think it's real unfortunate. I don't know what y'all thoughts on AB.
And I think that's the word too, bro, that you just said, man. A lot of people are lost, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to say that, you know, that you can't find yourself, but at the same time, man, it's just certain things that you can't really you can partake in, but you can't let that become, you know what I'm saying, the attention. And I'm not saying this is him, but I'm just saying people in general, you can't be so 100% attention seeking and certain things like that. That's gonna take you down the wrong road. I just think it's ultimately sad for me just because we talking about somebody, like you said, bro, to me, best receiver to ever play the game. I know people might say that's crazy and whatnot, but that's just my opinion. And then also, like, if you've seen it up close in person, just how talented this guy was, James, you said it, right? Hard working, bro. You cut the TV on Sundays. I mean, it just looked like he was playing a video game on easy, right? And then for it to just quickly change so fast, we're not talking about in most instances you do see a trajectory of things going downhill, but this was just like, you know, it made a decision one Sunday in New York in the game, and then from there on it's just been bad. So, you know, like you said, we put a prayer for AB here. We hope that he can find his way. You know, whatever plays out with this situation, it plays out, and man, you got to learn because, you know, you got kids that look up to you, and you got kids of your own that, you know, have to. I think that's another thing too. The people of status don't think how much that their kids is gonna have to deal with some of the repercussions and the decisions that you've made, especially living in a social media era that we talked about, where, you know what I'm saying, we got kids that are on Instagram and Twitter at 10 years old and can see all this information. And now I would hate the feeling of having to send my daughter or my son to school and they have to pay for it and hear some of the things that these kids gonna say. Cause we all know, man, kids mean as shit. Like, I don't want to, but kids
gonna find information.
They gonna find information and they gonna say whatever they want to say, right? So, you know, I just hope just moving forward, we all can learn from not just AB, but anybody in a position of spotlight or power can learn from these situations, man, because it's real right now, bro. Like I said earlier, I don't know why it's been feeling like that, but now more than ever, I just feel like as a you know, human being and as a culture or community, whatever, football players, we all got to come together and just figure out how we can tackle this whole thing. It just seems like it's over sports.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, AB overcame so much in his childhood life just to get to college, first of all, and then to become at his apex the best receiver in the NFL. And, you know, his story is in some ways like so inspiring. And so, like, it's a little bit, you know, sad to see the post-career trajectory that has been, you know, that has come with him, right? Because, you know, he has a story about overcoming the longest of odds, you know, from being homeless, you know, living out his car as a teenager, to get into where he got. Like, that is a story of perseverance, and that's a story that, you know, could have been told to so many people and been inspiration for so many people. So, you know, but like going back to our last topic, like, we don't know what's going on in their head, and we don't know, you know, what all is necessarily always transpiring. But, you know, it's anytime someone, you know, loses a life, anytime, you know, and like, or, you know, there's an attempted murder, like, it's sad, and we don't want to, you know, it can be really tough to grapple with, especially from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%, man. Yeah, hopefully get out of it, AB. Like I said, it could be. Like I said, you can share your story and things that you even like some of this stuff because it ain't gonna be the last time this type of stuff happened. You know what I mean? So hopefully he ends up on the right side of this story and rights the shit. Cause we all know like there's plenty of kids in South Florida that I know he can affect. Plenty of kids in Pittsburgh that he can affect that in a positive way if he gets back on the right track, man. But this past on Tuesday, we had a trade deadline, and it was kind of like a mad franchise going on in the NFL. There's a lot of trades popping off. Teams going out there getting players that they feel that can help take them over the hump. Teams that are already good trying to get even better. Some teams that couldn't stop nobody on defense. Got some people on their team, down the Cowboys, trying to fill some of them holes. So Jerry Jones said he had some stuff in the works, and he made some stuff happen. So the biggest trade probably out of them all, we had Sauce Gardner get traded to the Indianapolis Colts for 2 first-round draft picks. They sent A.B. Mitchell over to the New York Jets as well. I know Soj thought that was a little rich for quarterback. So what's your thoughts on that trade?
2 firsts? And granted, right, like, it hasn't been a good year for anybody in New York. But I just think, 2 first-round picks, bro, right now, like, it's not many players. Don't get me wrong. There's some players, like, especially at the corner position, that I could see being worth that, but I really only think it's like 1 or 2, bro. Like
Surtain and Stingley for me.
That's it. Those are the first 2 names that just, as soon as if you saw somebody getting traded for 2 first-round picks, you gotta be. I just feel like, and Sauce is that kind of player where he could come in and maybe impact the game. Not somebody that catches a lot of interceptions, but sticky coverage. 2 first-round picks is you could go change this game tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot for me, but I see where Indy is at with it, right? They're in the win now scenario, bro. Indy hasn't been this good since Andrew Luck, and the last time they played y'all in the AFC in the playoffs or whatever, the AFC Championship or the playoffs. I feel them. They got an offense right now that's rolling. JT, I think everybody on here, he would get an MVP vote if it was to all go down tomorrow. Daniel Jones is playing well, got weapons on the outside. Only thing is you just got to be able to have a defense, and their GM and their ownership and whoever makes the decisions in that building, they just felt like this was a move you couldn't pass on because they got to win now.
See, I don't mind it. I know it's a lot giving up the 2 first-round picks, but I heard like Miss Irsay, I don't know her first name, but Jim Irsay's daughter, she's like, you trying to put a Band-Aid on her, or you trying to get it healed and fixed up right now at the cornerback position? So if you want to address it right now, let's go all in. Let's go get it. You know
this can't be her talking, bro.
Hey, she there. She knows what's going on. I like it.
Carly Irsay, man, she's on the headset during the games, and like at first I was like, what is this woman doing? But then you listen to her explanation about that. She's like, if you were running a company and you want to know how your people communicated in stressful moments, there's no better way to just sit there and listen on the headset to everything that's going on.
Man.
And now I don't think but see, the way she talked about it, she's not talking about strategy. She's not talking about she's talking about effective communication between people. And I think that is something that's just, I think it's really interesting. And she's putting her stamp on the franchise.
It's working
already.
so far.
It is. I will say that.
What is it? Les Snead from the Rams, F them picks. Like, and I think she's going that way too. But I mean, if we've got the window, do it.
But I mean, it's gone on to show time and time again over like the last 6-7 years that this type of strategy works. Like the Rams, the Eagles, like teams going all in for the season, and it's been working. So that's a new way of doing it. I know before a lot of teams don't want to trade their draft picks. They want to save them all up, see if you hit on those first round picks, and sometimes those guys don't end up turning out to be nothing. So I'm gonna go get a guy who I think will be the answer to my problems right now. I ain't gonna wait, and we have a good football team.
A little hefty, bro. And hold on. So this is what I really want to. Y'all like, and great player, right? Just got a great bag this offseason. When we talk about top corners in the game right now, like just these last couple of years, I just feel like it's kind of. So is he? That's my thing. Like I don't think the ball that he's been playing is 2 first-round pick worthy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he ain't a good player. All I'm saying is what I've been watching on Sundays ain't 2 first-round picks.
But that's also the Jets too. He has not been playing good, but
so that's the thing, though. That's the thing. Like, if you advanced metrics, take them with a grain of salt. But his advanced metrics this year are as good, if not better, than any corner in the league.
So he hooping this year.
Yeah, but no one throws it his way, first of all, right? Because like if you're playing the Jets, like who do you have to worry about? You have to worry about Quinn Williams and you have to worry about Sauce Gardner. Well, they're both gone now. But so that whole you're going to throw to the other side of the field, and if you look at like how his how much separation receivers were getting from him, it's as little as anyone in the league. The completion percentage when targeted, it's as low as anyone in the league. He's been very good this year. I would say, yes, he's still like, if you want to talk about tiers and that top tier being Stingley and Surtain, I'm not going to put him quite there, but I've got him in that next tier. So I think, 2 late first round picks, assuming that the Colts are picking, 28th to 30th or something like that this year, if they go on, have a good record, have a good run. And if they think they're going to be able to run it back next year, like that, I mean, you're effectively trading 2 very late first round picks for a guy who was picked 4th and is performing at at minimum a Pro Bowl level, if not an all pro level, at the second or third most important position in football. I'd say third most important after quarterback and edge rusher. Like, I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. And for the Jets now, I mean, we'll move to talking about Quinn Williams here next, but like, dumping those guys. They've got 5 first round picks in the next 2 drafts. Now they are the Jets. They'll probably mess it up.
I mean, they actually do it. They actually
do draft. They draft well.
Do they though? Zach Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, aside from
the most important position.
I mean, to me, with him, it was just they put him on the field too early. He should never been starting. He should have been a year 3 starter or something. He should have never started in that first season. You set him up to fail. The team wasn't going to be good. You asked him for this dude who, obviously could throw the ball all over the yard if there's no pass rush, but it's the NFL. It's going to be a pass rush in your face. You ain't throwing at your 7-on-7 and at your pro day. But I think they do draft well. They're going to have to hit on these draft picks. I just wonder how long they're going to give Aaron Glenn, man, with this type of roster. You're going to do all this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm at the helm of this, like, dang, like, gave away all my talent. Like, y'all gonna get rid of me after a year or 2 with this? Like, my defense getting reshaped. I'm a defensive coach. Like, it's like, dang. Like,
well, I mean, you throw on. They gave Michael Carter to the Eagles last week, plus Quinn Williams to the Cowboys, which I'm sure we'll talk about next. Like, that defense is devoid of talent. They just demoted one of their starting linebackers. Like, it's crazy.
The fire going on over there.
Absolutely. Well, it's my question to you then, Soj, is like, do you think what is Dallas doing? Because they lose on Monday night, and then they go trade for the linebacker from the Bengals, Wilson, who wasn't really getting run with the Bengals, the worst defense in football, and then spending giving up assets to get Quinn Williams when they're, what are they, 3-4-1 now or something like that? Yeah. 4-4-1, right around there, like probably like outside looking right on the borderline of the playoffs. After and they already got rid of Micah. Like, I don't really understand what what GM Jerry Jones is doing here.
I think, bro, he was just making a move, honestly, because if he didn't do anything, the media was going to kill him. They were going to drag him through the dirt like we've been doing. And we've been saying it all off season, right? All off season, we've been saying this team, it seems time after time, getting the playoffs, and they always have a roster where they seem so close to getting into that big game, and they always fall apart late. And this offseason, he made no noise at all as far as on the trade wire, just bringing in better players. And then when the season started, you make a probably the splash trade of this year, and you send your star pass rusher to Green Bay, who I think a lot of people might put in the conversation of being a contender. So I think he just made some moves, man, because I don't think this was a move made for this year. I kind of feel like the season they're having, you might as well already chalk it up, because it's a lot of the NFC is top heavy this year, right? Like, the NFC West might get 3 teams in the playoffs. Like, we always have a division that get 2 or 3 teams in the playoffs. And I just think those playoff spots are going to be limited. So I don't see Dallas making the playoffs. Now, it is early still. I mean,
We're halfway through the season.
We have, but at the same time, they're not in like a 2-win 6.
Still got a chance.
So they still got a chance if you win, 3-4 games here, or you go on a streak. But I think all the moves that Jerry made was just to get people to not talk about him and then look forward into the future as far as scrapping this shit.
I mean, James, let's talk about their schedule, because they're on a bye this week for them, but then they've got Raiders that, Raiders are showing up okay, and it's in Vegas.
That should be a win though.
But listen to the schedule they've got after that: Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers.
Shit.
They gotta get some reinforcements. So I like the trade. I like it, man. I don't know if it's gonna, make a big impact this year, but I do think, for next year it's gonna work really well. I know maybe Logan Wilson has been playing that great for Cincinnati this year, but to me, he's one of the better linebackers in the league over the last several seasons, aside from this one. And then Quentin Williams, one of my favorite D linemen in the league. They're missing a good pass rush, a good interior defense. When you got the type of corners on the outside like Bland and Trayvon Diggs, they're not shut down corners. They're guys that make plays on the ball and create turnovers, need a pass rush. So I think they still gonna need an edge rusher. I think Quentin Williams and who's the guy they got from the Packers? I can't forget his name right now in the trade with Micah.
But they interior, right?
Interior. They're two good football players on the interior. I think they just need a little bit more off that edge. If they get somebody in the draft next year or sign a free agent to come off that edge, and I feel like their defense will be a little bit more shored up. But I do think this helps some, but I just think it's a little bit of a Band-Aid for what's going on right now. I don't think
Kenny Clark is the guy they got. But Kenny Clark's what, 31? Like,
he's a little older, yeah.
He's a little old. He's a little bit older. Quinn's in his prime for sure. Yeah. And he's a beast on the defensive line. But me personally, I don't know about this. Looking at that schedule, looking at, just plus it's not just the NFC West. I mean, the NFC North is deep, right? Yeah. Packers, Lions for sure. Chicago. I mean, the Vikings have shown that they can beat anyone with that defense, right? We saw what they did to the Lions last week. And so, in my opinion, this was a bit of a foolhardy move, especially if you're going to give up future assets on a season where, you've been up and down for the most part.
Yeah. I feel like they had to do something with that. The defense was just so atrocious. And it's like, I'd rather get players that I know are going to come make an impact versus, drafting somebody who I have no clue what they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's maybe the way, Jerry's looking at it. I think he still could have done this probably early on the season or during the off season instead of waiting until the middle of the year, because you knew your defense wasn't going to be that great when we looked at it on paper before the season started. But hey, who knows? Jerry got all the answers. So
yeah. I think the best move of the week though was the Seahawks getting Rashid Shaheed. And James, he's someone that I wanted for my team. I know the Pats he would have done really well with the Pats as well. They could have used him as well, because both those teams need receiver help. And to me, man, like, that was the guy I wanted the most. I mean, in the group chat, I was talking about him damn near every day. And I think the Seahawks now, you look at Jackson Smith and Jigba, who is balling like no one else. And, he's going to push JT for Offensive Player of the Year if he keeps going at this rate. Yeah. And so, like, you got two weapons, Sam Darnold playing well, and Seahawks in that tough division just got even tougher.
Yeah, I like this trade, man. I'm pissed Warren out on here for this one, because he came into the year talking about how they were going to run this division. They're going to sweep everybody. They weren't going to have no division losses and all this stuff. And I tried to tell him, no, man, especially with the 49ers, even with all the injuries, them boys still play tough. I didn't think Seattle would probably be this good as what they are right now, but they think they look like the best team in the league, like offensively and defensively. Now you add Shaheed to that mix with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Cooper Kupp working the middle, and this dude that can take the top off. Because the young dude, the Torrey Horton, the dude from Colorado State, he been playing well too. So,
and he's a good returner too.
Yeah, man. So it's like, I think this is a really, really good move. I think it just adds more weaponry for Sam Darnold, who's having a sleeper. I mean, I don't know if he may be in that MVP type conversation, but he's having a really, really good season. So people better watch out for Seattle. I don't think too many people talking about it, even though they record good. But They dangerous.
That's the Sam Darnold is the key piece to all that, right? And I think that last year was the example when he got to the playoffs. You saw the real Sam Darnold come out, right? So hopefully that was a learning experience. And then, with the trade that he just made, JSN hooping, I think they're going to be a really, really hard tandem to stop. And I think, kind of both similar. Like, of course, Shaheed is way more faster and it pop out on paper, but I think JSN he's the same way. He can catch a dig and get out of there. So I think from a defensive standpoint, teams trying to stop them, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot to deal with, bro, because that's a lot of speed on the outside, and JSN having that year where, like you said, Perk, if he could challenge JT, hopefully JT win it, and if JT win it, he's going to be the offensive player of the year for sure.
Yeah, definitely going to be dangerous. And the last trade I want to talk about is the Miami Dolphins. They traded Jalen Phillips to the Eagles. Like, I don't know how the Eagles will always end up with these good trades, like in the middle of the year, off season. He knows how to finesse teams. He knows how to.
He shouldn't even have no picks left, bro. Like, where you keep getting all these picks from? I cannot understand it for the life of me. I thought when he traded for AJ and who he traded for last year or something like that. It was
they be making all type of trades.
Yeah, I would figure all their picks gone.
Yeah, but they get Jalen Phillips, and then he had an interview in the locker room today. He said, "Man, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life." So that boy could wait to get out of Miami. So you know what I'm saying, he ends up going from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the better teams in the league. So I'm sure it's a great feeling for him. You get to play alongside some other great talent on that defense. A lot of young talent too. You get him, Jalen Carter, in the mix there. Some young linebackers.
They about to get Nolan.
That's the thing. I love the fit there because like Nolan Smith is a great edge rusher, but he's light. He does not hold up well against the run. Jalen Phillips is a more than adequate run defender at defensive end, edge, whatever you want to call it. And so for me, that's a huge get for them, just to sort of shore that up, because they did lose pieces from last year, and we know what's his name coming out? Who's coming out of retirement? Brandon Graham. I almost called him Mason Graham, but that's the defensive tackle on the Browns. Yeah, but no, Brandon Graham coming back. So I mean, how much he has to give, we'll still see. But if nothing else, he's going to go play hard for 15 snaps a game and give them also some good run defense on the edge. So I think that Philadelphia has put themselves in position to again be potentially the class of what is, like Sojourn said, a top-heavy NFC.
Yeah, most definitely, man. All right, we'll turn the page to Week 10. Some of these games, some of these matchups, a little preview of the games we got going on this weekend. We got Pats versus Bucks. That's going to be a real good game. We got Ravens, Vikings, Rams, 49ers. Once again, 49ers got on the first time. We'll see how that goes. Steelers versus Chargers. I think it could be a good matchup. Monday Night Football, Eagles, Packers. That's going to be a good matchup. Out of those games, which one y'all think y'all looking forward to?
I'm gonna go that Bucks and New England game is big, but I'm gonna go Philly and Green Bay. Right. This is, in my opinion, right, all depending on how the Lions figure it out, but this could potentially be the NFC Championship game. Right now, Philly is Philly. Any team that's going to have to beat them going to have to go through Lincoln Financial Stadium. And Green Bay, just in my opinion, the defense is playing a little bit of a drop-off from what it was earlier this year, but they still playing sticky in coverage. Micah and the boys up front still being able to get pressure home. I just think the offense, bro, Jordan Love continues to show, and in my opinion, he's in that MVP conversation if he keeps playing how he's been playing. But it's for him as always, and even in the media, it's like he got to get over that hump. And this is the year, bro. Romeo Dobbs is playing at a level that he feels like he is unguardable, and that's how you should feel. And then, getting Christian Watson back. The first round pick that they drafted, Matthew Golden, like they have the weapons and the different type of receivers to threaten secondaries, and I think it all fall on Jay Love, bro, to take Green Bay back to them glory days.
Yeah, for sure. Losing Tucker Kraft hurts them, I think, a lot, because he really stepped up. selfishly, he was on my fantasy team, so I had to pour out a Pabst Blue Ribbon for him on there. But for me, the game that I'm going to be most locked in on out of these is definitely Rams 49ers, because my question is, how much longer can the 49ers continue to patch this together with duct tape and barbed wire and who knows what else they got in their bag of tricks, because they're losing dudes left and right and still finding ways to win. Christian McCaffrey is his carries plus targets receptions is absolutely insane. He's one of the leading receivers in the NFL, especially by catches. I didn't look at the stats this week, but they are out of this world. And then obviously the Rams, like you talk about the MVP discussion, I think Matt Stafford definitely has a case to be in there too. He's been statistically arguably the best quarterback in the league through the first half of the season. He's not throwing any picks. He's definitely getting on the page, on the same page with his receivers. Puka's been in and out the last couple weeks, but we saw Soja's guy over there catching a couple touchdowns last week.
DA.
Yeah. Devontae Adams. So I think that this game is going to be really intriguing. I like the Rams here, but I think it's going to be a very, very tight matchup. James, obviously, who's going to leave the Pats for you though, buddy?
Yeah. Of course, I'm gonna be biased in this one. I'm gonna go Pats and Bucks in this joint. To me, I think it's a big matchup based on, I know the Patriots, we've won a ton of games in a row and everything like that. Last week had a tough matchup with the Falcons, which I thought was going to be tough based on the type of weapons that y'all have on offense. We present a lot of problems. Drake London, went crazy on us. So this is going to be a tremendous matchup for our offensive line. To be offensive line and pass protection. Todd Bowles, a heavy blitz defensive coordinator, calling those plays. We've given them a ton of sacks over the last couple of weeks. He's about to heat us up. So hopefully, our offensive line, running backs, tight ends, everybody in Drake May is prepared for what's about to happen to them. Block it up, get the ball out your hands. It's going to be a great challenge. They have a pretty solid secondary. Tampa's defense is always going to be good. And I think Baker presents a great challenge for us too. I know he's missing some of his receivers and everything like that, but he's playing well. When you get to him in the pocket, he's tough to bring down. That's when he gets his energizer, plays when he breaks a tackle, scrambles for a first down, get the crowd into it. We're gonna be on the road and everything like that. So it's gonna be a challenge. I think it's gonna be one of our toughest ones just yet. We got to win these type of games in order to take that next step. It'd be great for Drake to go in a hostile environment, go out there and keep playing the way he's been playing. I think we're gonna need a big game out of Stephon Diggs. So he had a big game a few weeks ago. It's been solid for us. With Kayshon Boutte going down for however long he's going to be down, we'll need him to be Stephon. It's Stephon that I know him. You need him to turn up. So I think that's the game I'm looking forward to, man. But
I think quickly, I think that's a big Cade Otton game for the Bucks. I think that he's going to be a huge factor. The Pats haven't done great defending tight ends this year, and he can exploit mismatches, and especially with the receivers at injury to the Bucks, I expect him to have be a big part of the passing attack for Tampa Bay this weekend.
You would expect that. We struggled in that consistently. Either they get a touchdown or they're getting 50, 60, 70 yards every single week. Which, hey, we've been able to get some dubs.
Can we talk Ravens-Vikings for just a minute, though?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because this is a fascinating game. This is a fascinating game for a couple of reasons. For obviously Lamar's second game back, going to be against tougher competition. I mean, he finally put the nail in the coffin of Chris Greer last week when they beat the Dolphins. But at the same time, we saw the Vikings beat what I thought was one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country in Detroit last week pretty handily. Mm-hmm. And their defense can get after anyone. Now, the question is, you've got a Vikings offense, which has not been fantastic, especially with JJ McCarthy, let's call him a rookie. He's a second-year player, didn't play a snap last year. He's effectively a rookie. He's been having some rookie up and down, plus the injuries against a Ravens defense that, has underperformed so far this season. So I think that it's a really interesting, when one team has the ball, when the Ravens have the ball, that Vikings defense, obviously, we know they've got an incredible coordinator. They do crazy things. They got Van Ginkel back, and he's a huge part of that pass rush and a really disruptive player. And so I think it's just going to be a really fascinating X's and O's matchup, especially when the Ravens have the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a fun one, man, because I think the Ravens are still in the mix to go out there and win that division based on how everything's going on within those teams. Steelers ain't found a way to separate. The Bengals, they're doing what they do, and the Browns, they're still struggling. So with a healthy Lamar, Derrick Henry seemed like he's kind of got over the hump with a couple of those fumbles and everything. Defense has gotten back healthy. Ravens can be right there in the mix in the playoffs. The defense is playing much, much better compared to early on in the season. So this is going to be a fun matchup to see if Lamar and company can handle the different looks that Brian Flores is going to throw at them, and see if Derrick Henry, because I think that's the way you kind of eliminate some of that, is being able to run the football. So if Derrick Henry can really get it going, then I feel like their offense can go out there and do their thing.
Yeah.
But y'all have any plays y'all like this weekend, man, with FanDuel, any prop bets or anything like that? I mean, I know I like one this weekend. We got two teams that are struggling throughout this entire year. We got the Browns and Jets going up against each other this weekend, and the over-under is at 37.5, man. And for me, I gotta go under. I gotta go under with that.
37. You think under?
Under, man. The Browns got really good defense. Jets offense, I know they had like an okay week a couple weeks ago, but I just feel like, and the Browns offense ain't good neither. So I don't think a lot of points are gonna be scored in this one. I feel like it could be one of those 14-7, 14-10, like one of those type slugfest matchups. Could be one of those sloppy games. I think that's I'm gonna go under. I know that's not a lot of points.
That's low. That's what 37 and that's no points. You do have a case though. The thing is, the Jets have been able to score. Like, they've been competitive in games and they've scored a lot of points, right?
Yeah, they scored a lot of points against the Bengals. Like
Pittsburgh.
Against
Pittsburgh defense bad too.
That's the thing. Cleveland's got a defense. That's the one thing we know that they have. And so, but Cleveland's offense can't move the ball. Jets defense can't stop anyone. So you've got movable object against what, versus stoppable force. Like, what's going on there? You can see I've got my little, my little two-piece over here. Bills, Dolphins fire sale as well. Got rid of Chris Gear. They have a terrible defense. Bills, all they want to do is actually run the ball. They actually, I think their job is to make Josh Allen throw as few times as possible. Right now, Dolphins can't stop the run. James Cook over 83.5 yards and an anytime touchdown. Put those together, it's plus 142. And I like that a lot personally. And yes, I am a homer. What can I say?
I like both. I ain't really think of, me, I'm gonna say Derrick Henry anytime touchdown. But
that's probably a good chance on that one against the Vikings.
Yeah. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, and Jordan Love to pass for over 1.5 touchdowns. He been slinging the rock. That's usually been a lock. He failed me one time this season so far, but one thing Green Bay gonna do, they gonna throw the ball. They gonna get to the 1 yard line and throw the ball and throw. You feel me? So
Derrick Henry
have opportunities.
Derrick Henry minus 145 for that anytime touchdown.
That's solid. That's a good.
That's not terrible. And then for the Packers, we've got Jordan Love. His over-under is only 233.5 passing yards, and over-under that over 1.5 plus little plus action plus 108. So you like those two passing touchdowns, so you're gonna get a nice little lap.
Nice little, yeah.
Jordan, turn up.
We need it, man.
No, but see, I'm not betting on Jordan Love until Toyotathon starts, because that's when he gets into it every year.
What?
Okay, so it's crazy. So like the Toyotathon, like which is every year Toyota has like their sale around the holidays.
Oh yeah.
During Toyotathon, Jordan Love's stats are like twice as good as they are when it's not Toyotathon. It's crazy.
Really?
It's happened every single season. Yes.
Dang.
3 years. Like we
gotta deal with Toyota or something.
Man,
get them right.
Something going on.
Get them right, man. But man, that's a wrap for the Money Down podcast on the Believe Network, presented by FanDuel. Appreciate you guys tuning in to another live episode on a Thursday night. Keep liking, keep subscribing, keep showing love. We appreciate y'all.
And Grand Theft Auto, they full of for pushing the game back again.
2028 next.